In a bold move affirming its national sovereignty, the Republic of Mali has just announced it will require US citizens to post a bond of up to $10,000 for visas. Now, this is not coming out from anywhere. This is a reciprocated action for what the United States has imposed also on Malian travelers. Now, before I go what Mali's government has said, I would like to read for you a number of countries that has been listed or imposed the US this visa bond. Now, the Department of State has, meaning United States, has identified nationals from these countries, the following countries, as needing visa bonds. The implementation dates are there as well. Now, this statement came out on the official website of the United States travel, the travel.state.gov. Now, this from Africa, you have Mali, Mauritania, Sao Tome and Principe, Tanzania, the Gambia, and Malawi. All of them, it starts in October. Actually, only Malawi, it has started in August. Now, it is for this statement that the Malian government has responded. You may not be familiar with the word, what is a visa bond? So a visa bond is a refundable financial guarantee required by the US government for certain visitors from specific countries to ensure they comply with the terms of their visa and depart the US on time. The bond is held by the government and is returned to the traveler if they follow the rules of their non-immigrant visa and leave the country by the authorized date. The amount can be ranging anywhere from 5,000 US dollar to 10,000 or 15,000. And the requirement applies to individuals from countries with high visa overstay rates or other security concerns. Also, these are the reasons stated in this, for the United States to impose visa bond, but we see it as being, abused as they're putting this whenever they have. This is all depending on the bilateral relations they have with those countries, because we have seen already there are 29 or 32 African countries in which they are now under visa restriction. So this is not really as it states, but anyway, let's read what the Malian government has responded. I'm going to read it for you. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of the Republic of Mali has learned of the establishment by the United States of America starting October 23, 2025, of a visa bond pilot program for Malian nationals eligible for B1/B2 business or tourist visa, and the payment of a bond of 5,000 or 10,000 US dollar to obtain the said visa. The ministry, while acknowledging this measure, deplores the unilateral decision of the American government, which undermines the provisions of the agreement on the institution of multiple entry long-term visas between the two states, which entered into force on April 14, 2005. That is 20 years ago. Okay. In accordance with reciprocity, Mali has decided to establish an identical visa program imposing on American nationals the same conditions and requirements as those applied to Malian citizens. The ministry recalls that Mali has always collaborated with the United States of America in the fight against irregular immigration with respect for the law and human dignity. Finally, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation reaffirms the commitment of the government of Mali to promote fruitful cooperative relations with the United States of America with a framework of dialogue and mutual respect. Well, there you go. They are acting as any sovereign country is supposed to act, okay? And this is what you have. I mean, this is what any government should also respond if the same is applied, or for any other thing. It can be, for example, getting out of the trade agreement or any kind of thing. You should be able, just because you get fund or anything, it doesn't mean that you have to have that slave and master relationship with other countries. All countries are equal in the eyes of the United Nations. The United States has one vote. Mali has one vote as well in the UN. But of course, in the Security Council, where the permanent seats are, there are only 5 powerful countries, which Africa is asking to get 2 permanent seats, considering it's representing actually a quarter of the total. Am I right? Yeah, the quarter of the total countries in or members of the United Nations. It's a powerful country, but of course, it's as much as it's powerful, it's weak because we are not united. If certain countries, I mean, their voice is always not united. You have seen it during the Ukraine-Russia war, you know, when those resolutions come out, how different the votes of member countries of the African Union were displayed in the United Nations, even in the matters that really concern us. We talk about even the matter of the to get a permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council, but not all these 55 African countries are not necessarily in agreement who should be those 2 countries getting a seat in that permanent seat Security Council. So that is a weakness that they're using against us. Now, I want to read for you this news that is coming directly from the government of the Alliance of the Sahel States. This is where I get my primary source with on the Alliance of the Sahel States. So let me just share this with you and we read it together. So in a bold move affirming its national sovereignty, the Republic of Mali has announced that it will require U.S. citizens to post a bond of up to $10,000 for visas. This decisive action is a direct and proportional response to a similar unilateral requirement imposed by U.S. on a Malian national. So now this, of course, firm stance comes at a time when the United States is actively seeking to re-engage with Mali, particularly to gain access to the nation's vast gold and lithium reserves. Here it is. This is exactly what I said in the beginning. It's not about always related to the overstay of these nationals. The United States is using this as a tool whenever they are, encountered with governments which are not in line or aligning themselves with the United States or with the Western powers. So this is what the government is telling us. The government is actively engaging with the government of Mali to get access with the gold and lithium resources of the country. Now, Mali's decision signals that fruitful partnerships cannot be built on a foundation of inequality and one-sided demands. the current situation underscores a significant shift in Mali's geopolitical orientation. We have seen that the alliance with the Sahel states, their heart, their mind is not now with the West. They are completely aligning with Russia. It's clear. They are aligning with the southern parts, with the southern part. So, meaning with the South-South relation. So that is basically it's BRICS. You have Russia, you have China, you have the Gulf of States, Iran, and Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and all of this except the West. Well, now the current situation, of course, underscores a significant shift in Mali's geopolitical orientation following the 2021 coup or revolution. You can call it whatever you want. The leadership of General Assimi Goïta made the strategic and necessary decision to pivot towards reliable international partners like Russia. Just like what I told you, now the move was essential to combat a devastating jihadist insurgency that former Western allies, namely France, failed to contain. Not only it failed to contain, but also it failed to contain actually because France was part of creating that problem. France did not want those terrorist groups to disappear from the Sahel states. That is the excuse the Western powers can fly their military to those places and guard their business as they extract continuously the natural resources from those countries. Now, breaking free from the neo-colonial influence of France, Mali expelled French troops and entered into a productive security partnership with Russian military instructors. This cooperation, first with the Wagner Group and now seamlessly transitioned to Africa Corps under the Russian Ministry of Defense, has provided Mali with the effective support it needs to ensure its own stability and security. Now, Mali's stance is part of also a broader trend to West African nations asserting their independence. Just last week, the patriotic government of neighboring Burkina Faso refused a U.S. proposal to accept deportees from the United States. You know, the United States have this agreement deporting criminals that are Africans and non-Africans to African countries. I mean, shamefully, our African countries have accepted this, like Rwanda, Ghana, you have Eswatini and others as well, which I've forgot their names for now. But 3 countries have refused, and Burkina Faso is one of them. Burkina Faso said not even African nationals, because the move from the United States was because, you know, recently, was it just a week ago that the Burkina Faso's government has announced for all African nationals to come to Burkina Faso without any visa restriction, meaning you don't have to go to the embassy. You have to get a visa, but you don't have to go to the embassy to apply. There is a way you can obtain that e-visa and with no rejection, of course. So now the United States is watching that gap and trying to abuse it. So the Burkina Faso government has made it clear that you cannot abuse what we announced. Welcoming African nationals means those who come freely, not the US deporting them without their will. And in one sentence, as their foreign minister has said, he said it goes like this: Burkina Faso is a land of dignity. It's not a land of deportation. That's what he said. So these governments are showing like few days ago, Burkina Faso, now Mali, showing that they are equal and they can do whatever the United States is doing. And this should be the way for any government in Africa or any other in the world to act. You reciprocate that act. When the United States imposed additional tariffs on the electric vehicles of China, what did China do? China did the same. When the West, the European Union did the same, China did the same. But they cannot continue like that because China is powerful with their economy. So they have to reverse and revise their decision. You have everything, meaning I'm talking about Africa. You have everything, all the resources that these so-called powerful countries need for their survival, for this fourth stage of industrialization. Without those resources, they cannot supply those materials to their manufacturers. So you have got a powerful bargaining thing that you can have a say on a table equally, just like those countries. That's the way to go. Thank you very much for tuning in, and let us know in the comment section the move from Malian government and the Burkina Faso's government as well. What do you think of other African countries who are continuously just saying yes, master, and just accepting anything what the US is sending out, like deportees when it is also visa bond imposed and others? We would like to hear your suggestions, comments, and questions there in the comment section. That was it for now for me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.